Hi, how are you?
Very well indeed.
That's good. That's good. So we're in Leith and we've just come to visit this gentleman. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Pete Allison. I'm one of the founders of Woven Whisky, and I'm also the whiskey blender.
Excellent. And how long have you been doing that?
Well, we set up the company in 2020/2021 when we started trading. So I suppose, what's that, 5-6 years?
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah.
Wow. You seem to have kind of been doing very well from what I can see. We see your whiskey around the traps a lot.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that we're swans. So I think that's good. If you're seeing us around in bars and in shops, that's definitely good. But we do work pretty hard to try and do it. You know, it's been quite the 5 years. When we started, it was myself, Nick Ravenhall, and Duncan McRae. We kind of put together our savings, enough to buy a few casks of whiskey and some jerry cans, so not even full casks, that we blended up to be able to create sort of 4 whiskies that we then sold to be able to buy some more whiskey, to be able to, and so on. So I'm very glad to hear that you're seeing us, because we've kind of felt every single step, if that makes sense.
Well, I think, isn't that the way that good businesses come to be? You sort of have to fall before you can even crawl.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a big fan of finding out how these overnight successes work.
Yeah.
That sounds lovely.
I'm not sure that they really exist. I'm sure that that's like a PR spin or something. But yeah, no, as small business owners ourselves, I don't think that's how it works. I think you have to work really hard, and a lot of times people don't see that side of things.
I think so. I mean, but in truth, I mean, it's been incredible. And you know, I think if you were to say to me 5 years ago and tell me what we're doing now would be in the future, I'd have, bitten your arm off to try and do it. So like, joking aside, it's amazing, and really has been.
So tell me a little bit about how we got here. So your journey professionally, how did you come to be a whiskey blender?
Oh, personally?
Yeah.
Well, I am very untrained and no qualifications in it. So there's that. But I started working in bars, after school, and you kind of learn about mixing cocktails, which of course is balancing flavors and maybe different textures, and trying to sort of get that clarity, balance, texture in a drink. And so I suppose that's kind of the foundation of blending as well. And then going from bars, I started working in beer and then sherry, where I worked sort of hand in glove with production as well, to be able to facilitate sherry cask sales into whiskey, that then brought me into whiskey. And when we set up Woven, the three of us, we didn't have a blender, but we trusted our palates, and I think that as somebody who enjoys puzzles and turning quite complex situations into relatively simple parts, I kind of took that approach to blending whiskey and broke it down into essentially pairing different flavors together to be able to understand how they work together, and then being able to build up sort of balance from that. So yeah, I mean, I think that the journey as a whole is relatively roundabout, but it has led to probably something quite vocational, and something that I love and really feel very privileged to be able to do.
That's very cool. I like it. I like hearing those stories, because I think a lot of the times people feel excluded from different environments because they don't have formal qualifications. But I don't think qualifications are the be all and end all of everything. I think sometimes learning on your feet and making things that work for you.
And that trust, right, in yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, being creatives like you guys, you're able to feel imposter syndrome at any time. You're able to turn it on like that,
For sure.
right? But being able to zoom out slightly and say, well, actually, I do trust my palette or my writing or my creativity in that sense. It's really important to be able to sort of back yourself in that moment. And from a personal point of view, there's been lots of whiskies that, you know, that we make, and my acid test is being comfortable standing behind that whiskey at a show in front of, you know, people that are working in the industry for 40 years or are brand new into whiskey, and this is going to be their very, very first sip of it, and being able to say, well, here's why this whiskey is, here's why I like it, here's why I think you'll like it. And so kind of my own internal test is to think whether I can stand behind that blend and back it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think trusting yourself is a very cool and undervalued, generally undervalued sort of quality, and I think it's essential in this sort of game. Isn't it?
I mean, I guess today as well, right? It's really important because, like, you look at all that's going on in the world, and it's all kind of, it's all a bit up in the air, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But being able to sort of not back yourself in an arrogant way, that's absolutely not it. But just being able to say, yeah, I trust that what I've made, I like, and then you're able to convey that across to other people through your packaging or through your brand story or through whatever it is, to be able to say, yeah, this is going to be good.
No, I agree. We were just at the single malt with the Scottish malt whiskey, the Scottish Malt Whisky Society, and you know, their story about wanting to sort of embrace everybody who likes whiskey to come and try, you know, what they have on offer, and to not be judgy in any way about whiskey. Whereas, you know, we all know that there is a part of any kind of profession where you have those sort of people who think that they are the gatekeepers. But I think what I'm really liking about Leith and the time that I've spent here is that it doesn't feel like that at all. It just feels like you've got this really cool thing that you want to share with the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it yourself there, which is gatekeeper. And there is definitely that aspect to whiskey, and you see it with pricing, with narrative, with sort of the provenance talk, which is all fine and good. Like, it's done stuff for our industry that's elevated it, right? So there's no shade there. But I think that what we do with Woven and one of our sort of I was about to say founding principles. I don't think I've ever said that, but one of the first things that we talked about when we were sat in a room together, sort of coming up with kind of the bare bones of Woven, was that we want to make it for everyone, and to really mean that. So for everyone means that somebody that's interested in coffee and is geeky on coffee and has that shared language that can translate into whiskey and loves flavor, or somebody that just really wants a terrific highball in a bar and perhaps has never had a whiskey. They're gin and tonic people, or they're beer people, or whatever, wine, and they want to be able to try something a little bit different that's going to be that little bit sparkly and yummy. You know, Woven, we want to be for those people. So we do look at a lot of these kind of adjacent spaces and ways we're able to bring people in, like down to even this space, you know, that we're in at the lab. We do these open studios quite regularly, where essentially we open the doors for anybody that wants to come along and taste the cask samples, or what I'm working on just now, or the past experiences we've made, or the failed experiments that do happen. And that way we're kind of able to grow our community, but we're also able to to develop kind of these really lovely ambassadors for not just woven, but for whiskey in general, because blending whiskey means that we are completely impartial. We've got no skin in the game for distillery 1 or distillery 2.
Yeah.
We just want flavor. And so, behind us here we have a wall of really beautiful whiskies, many of which you might not have heard of. Well, you guys probably have, but many of which lots of people haven't heard of, or from countries that you wouldn't have thought would make whiskey. We don't have borders on our blending. So we blend, Canadian corn whiskey with South African corn whiskey with Irish single wheat-based single grain, and then Scotch malt whiskey together in a bottle, to be able to make something that is truly beautiful when it's combined with other flavors and when it's on its own. And that's really exciting for us. And I think that Leith as a community has really embraced sort of the creative culture of Scotland. It's become quite a hub. And so you have designers, perfumers, you've got amazing chefs, you've got fashion houses, you've got video game developers, you've got all these things kind of coming together in a small nucleus that used to be shipbuilders and ironworkers and glass makers. So this industrial hub has become a creative hub, and that's what I really love about this area, is that it fosters and fosters and fosters, and it's kind of, you feel it bubbling.
That's very cool. I'm glad you said that. So I also am really struck by that amalgamation of all of those different places in one whiskey. I just think that's really brilliant, and maybe some politicians could learn a little bit from your blending skills.
Our international policy is
come as you are, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And the truth is that some whiskies are easier to get than others. Scotland's very easy. I can just get a truck to go up the road and get it back. And then we have whiskies that need to come from New Zealand that are smoked with Manuka wood.
Honey.
It's beautiful, and that takes 5 months on the sea, or 5 months from door to door, as it were, to be able to get here. So the planning involved of making some of our whiskies is quite a long process, but honestly, I think that it's worth it. And I know that this isn't necessarily a chat about the merits of international whiskey, but just for 1 second, I promise.
I'm good with this.
I feel that every country that drinks whiskey now makes whiskey, and what we have is a window into other cultures and philosophies and techniques and priorities on what they want to preserve in whiskey. So a limited window, it's a porthole. But they're able to bring in new ingredients or processes or thinking in order to expand what whiskey can be. And that's really exciting, especially from a blender, because I'm able to take that and combine it with that to make something completely new. And I think that's the beauty of blending at its very, very heart.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. As a Antipodean, I'm very pleased that, the world is a lot smaller because of your whiskey.
I think, it's interesting because it does become smaller, but then what was really important for us as a company was that we were based here in Leith. Because Leith is, believe it or not, the most iconic view in whiskey for me is not in the Highlands with a stag and a pagoda roof and a still that's been there for 150 years. It's out that window right there. Because 200 years ago, this was the second busiest port in the UK, right? After London. And you had all the wine, sherry, rum, brandy, ports, everything coming in, spices, citrus, all these things coming in, getting logged at Custom House, which is across the road there. And because Scotland is so topographically complex, you had all these distilleries scattered across Scotland, essentially consolidating their casks along Commercial Street. And so blending whiskey was made on these cobblestones right here. You had the glass manufacturers along Salamander Street behind us churning out 1 million bottles a week just to facilitate the Scotch going out around the world. And brands like Johnnie Walker, Chivas, Tommy Dewar, we're all literally, we can throw a stone and hit their windows, you know? And so I love that about Leith, that historically, and you were at the SNWS, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were at the vaults. And they know all the history. I hope I'm not repeating their story, but this little pocket of the world is where the magic of whiskey happens at the beautiful distilleries. The business and commerce and industrialization and those beautiful sort of Victorian notions of how to grow and how to spread around the world in terms of, you know, a brand happened here. And I love that. I think it's really cool.
It is very cool. It's very cool.
Sorry. That's...
No. We can both just.
Yeah. I feel like I've just gone.
I'm a big history buff, so I love that you feel that connection to the place.
Yeah.
So are you a Leither?
I am born and bred.
Yeah.
About 3 miles that way.
Mm-hmm.
So Leith was big growing up. I'm from just. This is EH6,
Mm-hmm.
and I was born and bred in EH4.
Ooh.
So I'm just outside the postcode, but yeah, I mean, North Edinburgh through and through.
Do you feel like a Leither?
I do now.
Yeah.
I do now because, like I was saying, I think that there's this community that's growing of businesses and people that have a sort of a common goal, which is to make and craft in this area. And I love that. I mean, Leith has got quite a complicated history, right?
Mm.
It's not beautiful, never has been. It's a trading port, and it wasn't part of Edinburgh until quite recently.
Yeah.
It was a separate entity altogether. And, you know, it went into, after sort of after the port and the trade sort of dried up and the industrial stuff was kind of dispersed out to different parts of Scotland, this area became pretty bad. It's where Train Spotting was filmed, right? Or set. And that really paints the picture of sort of the 80s and 90s here. And from that, to be able to have, you know, I suppose it's a sort of a classic gentrification, but it is doing it with a Leith twist. I don't think that it's lost any of that identity, and I don't think it should. I also don't think it's lost its industrial identity either. You know, the fourth port now is trading more than ever. It's doing all those big wind turbines, and well, if you look at across, you'll see these big yellow structures that are massive, and that's to go out to bring energy to the whole of Scotland, right? Which is really exciting.
It's really cool.
And honestly, you can get your Michelin star meal, and you can get, you know, robbed on your way out the door still, because it's Leith, and the methadone clinics are 2 a penny down here. So it's got this real sort of, I can only describe it as a Leith feel. The banana flats and Browns of Leith in this building here, which is beautiful and has some of the best coffee and all this. You know, I just love the fact that it's this melting pot of past, present, different states of being, people from loads of different cultures coming together into one space. And I think that makes creativity easier here. It's not sterile.
That's very cool. So is Browns the reason why we have the coffee blend? How did that come about?
No, so our coffee whiskey, which is this guy right here, it's called WXC. It's just won the best flavored whiskey in the world, which is really great.
Congratulations.
And it's one of those categories that kind of gets really overlooked. It's a category that kind of goes, yeah, okay, sweet, sugary, lowest common denominator, off we go. But we took the idea of flavoring a whiskey very seriously, and to cut quite a long story short, we worked with a good buddy of ours, Claire Wallace, who is at Assembly Coffee down in Brixton.
Ah.
She's from Aberdeen originally, and we met at a whiskey show through her partner Mark. But she is like one of the world's sort of top coffee roasters and baristas. So
Good person to know.
yeah, she really is. And because I'm in my late 30s, you obviously get into coffee and, I don't know, cycling or something. You know, very always a cliche. But what was really interesting speaking to Claire was that there's a shared language, right, between what she does and what we do, and even down to processes. We blend, we wait for the right time to extract the right flavor. We do all these different things in order to sort of make the best version of our whiskey or our coffee. And we thought it'd be really cool to be able to work on a project together. And how that sort of wound up was doing lots of different experiments, but essentially working through Claire with the Cata estate in Colombia, which is a coffee estate in Colombia, where we get a single origin bean, quite low altitude, brought over to Brixton, where she roasts it to a very specific roast, and then that's ground down in Brixton, brought up through to here, and then turned into a cold brew using Edinburgh water, soft, really nice. And then I blend a whiskey around that profile, predominantly grain based, because you want it to complexity when it starts to come in with coffee. It essentially spikes a lot of the notes in coffee as for being sort of like kind of a bit too burnt or a bit too crazy. So grain based predominantly, a little bit of malt from Speyside, and then we reduce the cask strength whiskey down to bottling strength with the cold brew coffee. That's it. There's no sugar, there's no concentrates or sort of shortcutting techniques or whatever. We do it really properly, and the result is kind of this natural sweetness from the coffee interacting with the whiskey. I think if you enjoy coffee, then you're going to think that it's whiskey led. I think if you enjoy whiskey, you're going to think it's coffee led, which to me is good, because that confusion means that it's somewhere in the middle, and it kind of balances between the two entities, which is kind of what we wanted. But yeah, it's fantastic in a espresso martini. It's amazing as an old fashioned. It's good just with some tonic water.
Yeah,
really decent. So yeah, it's doing pretty well for us.
Excellent. Well, we've had some in our we have some at home actually.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It's good. Yeah, we love it.
Excellent.
I'm a big espresso martini fan, so it's one of my new ingredients.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's really
it's really
it adds a sort of a depth to an espresso martini you just don't get with the vodka, which I love. And I think that sort of the because it's a spirit, because it's essentially a bottle strength spirit, 44.5% ABV. It means that you're able to turn your espresso martini into your espresso martini, right? You're not just using vodka, color, espresso, and a dash of sugar. You're able to use this as the base and then tailor up the coffee, and you're able to bring down the ABV using some water or dilution or whatever you want to do, and you're able to add your own sugar so that it's yours, which means that you're able to get much more of a tailored
Yeah, it's funny the way that you explain that reminds me of coffee and how we all choose to drink our coffee. It's very tailored and so it's just quite cool. I like that. So tell me about the name. Woven.
So I mean, the name Woven is obviously to weave, to bring threads together to create a fabric. Now that for us is essentially the perfect metaphor for what we do with our whiskies. We're bringing these threads of whiskies together to create something stronger than the sum of its parts. Thread is weak, fabric is strong, and we love that. The idea kind of goes deeper though as well, because us as people, our lives are complicated, messy, beautiful, all the things, because we have work, family, hobbies, interests, catastrophes, beautiful moments. All of these things weave together into making you. And I love that as a metaphor for woven and blending together. The W on the bottle is W and an M together for whiskey maker. But it's also the same stitch as the Singer sewing machine. So
I love that.
It's sort of the weave of the sewing machine too. So it has a few meanings, but for us has become sort of the most important word in our dictionary, because as we like to sort of think about it, is that we're weaving sort of a community and bringing people in as well into our story, into our fabric, which is woven. So this is a whiskey brand for you, you know. And I think that the word woven is inviting and warm. It brings people in.
I agree. And the bottles, I have to say, I really like the bottles because they're a little bit different. Tell us a little bit about the idea behind the shape and the texture of the bottles.
Yeah, so my co-founder Duncan McRae, he's the deep thinker, and he'd be much better at being able to explain.
I don't know
this this to you, but really, being in the whiskey industry, and the three of us have been for 20 odd years each, and worked for some very historic brands. You'd know them all. And one of the joys of working in the industry is that you have access to these whiskies, and you're able to bring those whiskies to your buddies at a dinner and say, hey, look, I have this bottle of such and such. And you pour it for them, and they go, my God, that's amazing. That's the best whiskey I've ever had. And you go, yeah, thank you. It's all part of working in the industry, whatever. But they're in these bottles that don't talk to us. They definitely talk to people, and the people that engage with these big, historic, well-known brands love it, and that's great. But there's a lot of people out there who are design-led and are into minimalism and are much more tactile and buy Aesop as opposed to buying, I don't know, whatever the equivalent would be.
I don't know what the equivalent is either.
We wanted to speak to those people, and essentially our friends, right? They are designers, they are chefs, they are fashion designers or perfumers or people that are accountants that are just really into that sort of stuff as well. And so we worked with a fantastic duo, Freitag Anderson, or Greg and Daniel, but Freitag Anderson is their agency, and we put all of our ideas to them, and they came back to us with a few different ideas, and one of them was this very utilitarian bottle that uses less glass than a standard bottle. It's called a Boston Round. It's used in pharmaceuticals. It's incredibly tactile. You want to pick it up. The branding itself is quite minimal, so the So the idea is that you can have every piece of information. We are very, very transparent and open about what goes into the whiskies. On our website, you're able to see like an essay around each whiskey and why we made it, how we made it, what went into it, what went wrong, what went right, all these things. But the initial impression is that you want to pick it up, you want to find out more, you want to know what's inside of it. And I think that what that does is it encourages people to open up the bottles. This shouldn't be left on a shelf unopened. You know, you want people to open it up and drink it. And so for us, it was about creating this brand world that invited people in to do that. And so, yeah, the bottle was really important to us, and it's become kind of it's our biggest selling point, right? Because it does look very different from all other whiskey on the shelves. So there was a lot of thought that went into the design, and still does, and you know, I'll give Duncan the full credit for that.
That's great. I do really like. It does stand out. It's different, and as a gift as well. It's a beautiful piece.
Yeah, if all your readers could give it as a gift, that'd be great.
Along with a copy of the magazine.
Along with a copy of the magazine, absolutely.
Yeah. I noticed there's a green bottle up there. Is there a difference?
Yes. So this is pure malt, and this is our first blended malt. So we've always worked across grain whiskey and malt whiskey together, whether it be from different countries or from Scotland, like homemade. But this is our first blended malt, and so we wanted to differentiate it a little bit, and so we used the sort of the old bottle green that you would have got sort of coming out of here from Leith back in the day as the colour choice for it.
Excellent. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Give us a bit of an insight into how you blend and the process that you follow.
Yeah, I mean, I think that at its very basic principle, blending is bringing two or more whiskies together and then combining it in a vessel, and putting out in bottles and saying that's my blend. But I think that what we want to do at Woven is we really want to add a word or a sentence or a chapter into the story of whiskey. And so for us to do that, it was about figuring out our way of blending whiskey that was going to be able to elevate it higher than just the industrial process of, you know, putting it in and out it goes. So there's different stages, but the first one is the cask selection itself. Because we're independent, not owned by a distillery group or a large corporate, we have complete free rein to be able to approach and talk to any distillery across the world, and that's really important. Because it means that we're able to hand select casks or parcels of stock that maybe would go unidentified or not selected for a blend, might go into independent bottling because they're that sort of level of volume, especially. So we do that. We also have a very open mind as to where the whiskey's from and who it's from and what age it is and what type of cask it is. All of that doesn't matter. What matters is the flavour and whether it's able to fit within our colour palette, which is essentially this backdrop here, right? They're all different colours that we're able to paint any picture with. And then is the blending itself. So we do stuff in batches, relatively small batches. We take our time with our processes. We introduce techniques from other industries, Bonafactor from cognac, where essentially we're concentrating a lot of big flavors into a single vatting. So we're able to add that in, almost like adding bitters to a cocktail, where it brings a bit of backbone into it, but you don't necessarily get the flavor of it. Also élevage, where we are reducing our whiskey very slowly over time, rather than shoving in water immediately and bish bash bosh, off it goes. We do marrying in either inert vessels, casks of commerce, which would be sort of dead wood, or not dead wood, but fourth fill, fifth fill, or active wood, where we're specifically choosing a type of cask, port, sherry, Armagnac, Madeira, ex-whiskey, smoky, whatever, to be able to impart another layer of flavour onto it. And then, you know, we work really closely with a few really great production facilities. You know, we don't own our production, right? Which means that we have to have really great relationships with warehouses, with a team of people at different places that are able to help us with this crazy idea to do 200 bottles of that, or actually, you know what, I think that we might want to try this really slow and complicated process. And they always roll their eyes and they go, what? But what results is, for us, a better whiskey, right?
Yeah.
Something with that 10% more texture, or 5% more intensity on the flavor, or that little bit of clarity that you can't get without it. And being able to do these things is vital for our learning, and what we hope will be, you know, a long journey for Woven, and become ingrained within how we make things. We're always learning. We really are. We are, you know, like I say, you know, not a trained blender. But I think that's a superpower as well, because it means I don't have ingrained sensibilities of I must do it like this. I don't know how we must do it. What I know is that I want it to be the very best it can be.
Yeah, I think that's very cool. Oh, so tell us, what's on the cards? What's on the horizon? What plans do you have for the future?
We've got a really exciting few years coming up. I mean, I think that if you speak to most people in the whiskey industry, they're going to say, oh, tough times, eh? We're small, and so we get to grow in tough times, which is really nice, right? But we're sitting right now in Browns of Leith. Amazing building, mixed use. You've got restaurants, coffee, seafood, pizza, all these really great things. And then we're building our production facility, which will be a blending lab, as well as warehousing and some really cool little extra things. We're starting to break ground this year on it, hopefully completed early next year, and we'll be introducing lots of people to the space as well, so you're able to come in and blend with us. Right now, what we're doing on Thursdays and Fridays is that you're able to come into here, right, and spend a couple of hours with me, and you can blend your own whiskey as well, which is really cool. We launched that quite recently, and that's kind of scaling up a bit, especially over the festival, which is very soon.
Yes.
So those two things kind of happening in Leith, which is really exciting. We're doing amazing collaborations. I can't really say who with, but do watch this space, because essentially think about flavour, right? And who we might work with, because that's going to be really exciting. We love it. So more whiskies coming out. You're able to come into our space and be part of Woven, like to the truest form, and then, you know, expanding out around the world as well. You know, I mean, like I say, we're selecting whiskies from these incredible countries, and now we're selling whiskies in these incredible countries as well. So it's spreading that word as well.
Excellent. So some of our readers are not just UK based; some of them are across the world. So can you tell us where they can buy Woven now?
Yes. Right. In Europe, France, Italy, Spain, Germany, Poland, and then we've just shipped. Stock is on the water to China, Singapore, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Mexico, and hopefully this year, quite soon, will be maybe some more North America, so USA and Canada, but not completely confirmed yet.
Excellent. And what about in the Antipodes? Can we buy?
Yes.
Ah.
So sorry. I was thinking I'm missing off something. I'm actually missing something I'm working on right now, which is a big Australia. So we're going to be in Australia. Duncan lives in Adelaide.
Oh, cool.
So he's down there, which is great. And then also with our good friends at Highland Fern in New Zealand as well.
Excellent.
So yes, of course we do have, because
I know there's
Nick
lots
is
of
from
people.
New Zealand as well.
Oh, okay.
So we've got great
So you've
presence
got it
down
all
there.
happening.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. Excellent. If a friend was going to come to Leith,
Yeah.
what would you say was a must that they needed to do while they were here?
Okay, if they're coming over Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, breakfast, first of all, morning coffee right here at Brown's, some of the best coffee that you'll ever have. Then go for a little stroll up the water of Leith, get breakfast at Ardfern. Incredible breakfasts, really, really great. Then I think probably lunch at Barry's, which is a fish bar just along there. Spend the day wandering, go to the Port of Leith distillery, really beautiful. Come and see me at the studio. I'm bored most of the time. It's going to be great to see you. And then have dinner at Keelson. Brand new restaurant, serves the best chicken that you'll ever have in your life. They just have a rotisserie thing going on, which is unreal. Literally brand new, opened a few weeks ago, but can't recommend it enough. So that's what I would do in Leith for a day.
Excellent. That sounds like we've got a plan.
And also go to SMWS.
Of course.